and play on 2nd and 10. That's his youth right there.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
So today I'll be giving my Week 5 college football rankings and also reacting some to the new AP rankings. So I've still got Ohio State at number 1 and Oregon number 2. And the AP still has Ohio State at number 1. And the AP has now moved Oregon up to number 2. So Ohio State got the win over Washington, 24-6. Ohio State's defense so far has looked like the best in the country, but their offense struggled against Washington. Julian Sayin, while he was accurate in this game, he wasn't able to make very many long throws. And Oregon, I'm pretty sure now is going back to the Big Ten championship to play either Ohio State or Michigan. I do think that Michigan is going to beat Ohio State again, but that would be Ohio State's only loss. So number 3, I've got Texas Tech. So I moved them up 2 spots, even though they didn't play, because 2 of the teams that I had ranked ahead of them, Georgia and Penn State, both lost. But I do still think that Georgia and Penn State are both better teams than Texas Tech is. And I've got Miami at 4. I moved them up 2 spots also because Georgia and Penn State lost. But like with Texas Tech, I still think that Georgia and Penn State are both better teams than Miami is. And Miami didn't play this week either. And I've got Oklahoma at number 5. Moved them up 2 spots also because Georgia and Penn State lost. But I actually think there's a good chance that Oklahoma is better than Georgia and Penn State. But Oklahoma didn't play this week either. And number 6, I've got Ole Miss. I moved them up a lot. So they got cheated on that first LSU touchdown because that was clearly a drop. And Ole Miss, I do think now is a top 10 team, and they probably could have won this game easier had they have not gotten so many penalties. They had 10 penalties at halftime. So number 7, I've got Texas A&M. So they got the win over Auburn, 16-10, and they did struggle offensively. But their defense played the best it's played all year. And this game wasn't really as close as the score would make you think it is, because Texas A&M outgained Auburn 414 to 177. And I'm going to explain 8 through 11 because I know it probably looks crazy to have Virginia ranked number 8 or really even ranked at all. But because Virginia beat Florida State and Florida State beat Alabama and Alabama beat Georgia, and all 4 of those teams have 1 loss. To rank all these teams fairly right now, it would have to be done this way. Even though I do not think Virginia is actually a great team, and I think Alabama and Georgia would both destroy Virginia if they played. So I've got Texas at number 12. So they didn't play, but I moved them down 2 spots. Because of how the Virginia Florida State game went. But number 13, I've got Penn State. So I still think that this is actually a top 10 team. but it's crazy how Penn State is always so bad at the wide receiver position when they always have so much talent on their team. So this year that they loaded up in the transfer portal with three highly rated wide receivers, and their wide receiver room is still not any better than it was last year. So these three transfer wide receivers in the Oregon game combined for only 6 catches for 64 yards. Iowa is the only team in the last decade that I know of that's had worse at the wide receiver position than Penn State has. But now, if you're a lineman or a running back, Penn State would be a great place to go. But if you're a wide receiver, you would not want to go to Penn State. So I've got Indiana at 14. They did struggle with Iowa, winning only 20-15. They weren't very good offensively, but I think they were still celebrating that huge win over Illinois. Iowa's defense, is always good, so I wouldn't really think much of that. I still think Indiana is a really good team. And number 15, I've got Tennessee. I moved them down several spots because they had to go into overtime to beat Mississippi State. And well, maybe Mississippi State is a surprisingly good team this year. If you just compare the talent between Tennessee and Mississippi State, Tennessee should have won this game easily. So I moved LSU down to 16, which was quite a bit of a drop because of their offense, not really because they lost this game, but no matter how good the LSU defense is, with the offense this bad, they're not making it to the college football playoff. And it's not only their run game that's the problem. Nussmeier has been a disappointment this season too. And number 17, I've got Missouri. So they just played Massachusetts, but won 42-6, like you would expect them to do. So no reason to think any differently of Missouri than last week. So number 18, I've got Iowa State. So they got their first dominant Power Four win last week over Arizona, winning at 36-14. Iowa State, I think, is going to win 9 or 10 games this year. So 19, I've got Louisville. So they had to come from 17 points behind to beat a not very good Pittsburgh team, 34-27. But that's no reason to think any higher of Louisville than last week. But I do still consider Louisville to be a contender to make it to the ACC championship game. And the same goes for Georgia Tech. They had to come from behind to beat a bad Wake Forest team in overtime, 30-29. So number 21, I've got Notre Dame. So their defense finally showed up. They were able to hold what's been a pretty good Arkansas offense to only 13 points. And this Notre Dame offense looks to be one of the best in the country. I think this is the best Notre Dame's offense has been since I've watched college football, which has been nearly a decade and a half. This is a balanced offense, and in the past, it's really just been about their run game. But I was surprised at how well Notre Dame played in this game. I thought they wouldn't be able to stop Arkansas very much, and I thought that it would at least be close, and Arkansas might even pull the upset. So number 22, I've got Michigan. So they didn't play this week, but if they lose a conference game and it's not to Ohio State, if they only have one conference loss, they can still make it to the Big Ten championship. Because even though they do already have a loss, the Oklahoma loss was a non-conference game. And at number 23, I've got Mississippi State. So I don't really think Mississippi State is a top 25 team, but I do think Arizona State is. So I've got right behind them at 24. Because they have the same record right now, and Arizona State lost to Mississippi State. If I'm going to rank Arizona State, I'd have to rank Mississippi State too. But I've got Utah at 25. So they destroyed West Virginia 48 to 14. While I do think West Virginia is one of the worst teams in the Big 12, Utah, if they weren't any good, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have won by this much. I think this really just shows how good Texas Tech is. So the AP ranked BYU at 23, and I don't think BYU deserves to be ranked right now. Even though they're 4-0, they've not played anybody any good yet, and they just barely beat a terrible Colorado team last week. But that will be it with this video. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.